I'd like to welcome everybody to our State of the Town address. Welcome to our council members, town clerk, tax receiver, superintendent of highways, and welcome to our distinguished guests. Thank you for attending. This past year had many storylines: financial challenges, transitions, bipartisan action, leaders and heroes. And the town is an incubator of ideas. But I must start by saying that we started the year with a heavy heart, because one of the 7 seats behind me was empty. We had just lost Councilman Keith Romaine. And I would ask that we please take a moment of silence and remember Keith, who will not be forgotten. Thank you. And I would note that we recently completed construction of one of Keith's dreams, a skate park in Mastic. And I'll start today by announcing that, at the request of Keith's father, Ed, who's here today, we will not be charging fees at the skate park in Mastic. We started 2010 facing challenges, financial challenges, the likes of which the town had never experienced. Landfill fees and mortgage tax receipts had plummeted, and our multi-year projections showed that we would violate our fund balance policy in 2011 by over $20 million, and by 2012, this town would be flat broke. Our fiscal situation took a turn for the worse with the 2010 blizzard, which threw our highway fund into a deficit. It's safe to say that at the early part of 2010, the town of Brookhaven was heading down a road towards financial collapse. So what did we do? We implemented a 5-point fiscal plan that plugged that $20 million gap and then some. We offered retirement incentives that saved the town literally millions of dollars. We reduced our workforce by almost 100 employees, the lowest amount since 2003. And we passed a budget with bipartisan support that froze taxes and cut spending in our general fund by 17%. We put a tax cap, a spending cap, and a debt management cap on the ballot, and all three passed by about 80%. We ratified extensions to our collective bargaining agreements with our white and blue-collar units that will save the town $8 million over the next 2 years and over $25 million over the life of the contracts. And because of these swift and decisive actions, the town maintained its high bond ratings. That meant that in our latest bond issue, we were able to get an interest rate of less than 1%, which is effectively free money when you factor in inflation. So I think it's fair to say that the town aggressively addressed its fiscal challenges. And although our work is not done, we are in a better place this year than we were last year. The past year was also one of transition, particularly with our workforce. 112 employees took our retirement incentives over the past year and left the town. That's over 2,000 years of experience that literally walked out the door. And I'd like to take this moment to thank each and every employee who retired for their years of service to this township. Let's give them a round of applause. While many see these retirements as presenting a problem, I see them as providing an opportunity for younger employees to gain new skills and assume new responsibilities, an opportunity to bring in fresh talent, fresh sets of eyes, and people who can add in a variety of ways to the energy and vitality of this township. One person who falls into this category deserves special mention. When Charlie McGinley retired, many of us wondered who would be willing to take his place at our animal shelter. And in what can only be described as a gift, Dory Schofield agreed to run our shelter. Dory's passion and dedication are second to none, and we all notice her initiatives, from Furry Fridays down in the lobby to Barktoberfest. She comes up with all these fantastic names. emails about adoptable pets, and her tireless efforts to adopt pit bulls at our shelter. I'd like you to join me in recognizing Dory, and she's apparently here with a friend over here. Who's that, Boo? Is that Boo? Thank you, Dory. Thank you very much. And I want Boo adopted by the evening, if we could get that done. Many people, when they talk about the town of Brookhaven, they talk about partisanship. And yes, we do occasionally get after each other. We have to do something to keep the ratings up on Channel 18 at night. But isn't that the essence of democracy? Democracy is messy. It's supposed to be that way. And remember, we still run this town almost entirely through a legislative body, our board, using a mode of government that was created over 3 centuries ago. We do not have a true chief executive, like the county or the state. So every issue is subjected to the legislative process. And sometimes that isn't pretty. They say there are 2 things you don't want to see made, legislation and sausage. And we certainly proved that point over the past 2 months. And there are going to be disagreements, but they will be transparent disagreements. Our business is conducted in real time before the people, and that's a good thing. I want to emphasize, though, that in the past year we've agreed far more often than we've disagreed. Over 95% of our resolutions are passed unanimously. We accepted land use plans for Mastic Shirley, Portion Road, and East Patchogue, and voted to change the zoning of hundreds of parcels pursuant to those new land use plans. We accepted visionings for Route 25A, Medford, and Farmingville. We passed the Blight to Light Code amendments, giving the town a means to eradicate suburban blight. We finished a blight study and started a sewer study to identify our sewer assets. We partnered with the Long Island Housing Partnership, and I see Peter Elkowitz here today, to provide mortgage and foreclosure counseling to over 220 town residents. We acquired 140 acres of open space and farmland development rights, and we're in contract for 200 more acres of open space. We started our Green Homes and Go Solar programs, which to date have completed work on 85 homes and have kickstarted a new green economy in the township. We appointed or reappointed members to our various boards, including our Ethics Board, Planning Board, and Board of Zoning Appeals, regardless of their political affiliation. Our Quality of Life Task Force continues its aggressive enforcement of our code, resulting in a doubling of fines to almost $1 million. And as part of the 6th District Court in Patchogue, we created a Brookhaven Community Court. In economic development, our IDA did a number of refinancing deals last year and currently has 5 pending deals totaling $77 million and 300 jobs. The IDA produced the award-winning Blight to Light video, which you can watch on YouTube. The town hosted a Building Business in Brookhaven event for over 60 businesses. We obtained financing, federal financing, for Brookhaven Sewer District Number 2 at the Brookhaven R&D Plaza in Shirley. Our building division issued over 7,100 permits, and we started construction on sewer lines in East Patchogue. And we now await the work of the Carmen's River Study Group, which is drafting a proposed protection plan for that jewel of a natural resource. Environmentalists and builders, town and county officials all came together under the leadership of Dr. Lee Koppelman, and by all accounts, they are on the cusp of the most historic environmental event since the passage of the Pine Barrens Protection Act.